Hey, what's up, guys? Jeremy Donson here with E7 Music School. Today we're going to be doing Savior by Rise Against. This is actually a subscriber and viewer request. I had a subscriber request this song, so I am happy to do it for him. So I hope you really enjoy this, guys. And as always, this will have a full song breakdown available on the website. You can get that video, or you can have the membership where you have access to all the videos. Full song breakdowns. And as always, if you like this video, please do be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Here we go. Let's get started. Lots and lots and lots of crashes here. Okay, so let's break this down a bit. All right, so first thing is we're going to break down the main beat here and then cover all the flams and crashes and different crashes and the fills that are in there. Now, if you don't have 3 crashes, totally fine. You could use 1 crash the whole time and it's totally fine. If you do have 1 crash, though, just so you know, I would recommend play heavy hi-hat on this and then use the crash when it's a crash that you see me hit different than the main crash. If you have 2, then just use the 2. That's fine. You know, the 1 crash for the accent crashes and then the other crash for the whole section. All right, so breaking this down. So at the very beginning, you're gonna have an accent crash. So what I mean by that is you have the main crash that you're playing the whole time. But then you have a different crash, and typically you want it to be higher pitch, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's a good idea to have a higher pitch one. Right? It doesn't have to be again, but I would recommend that. So whatever crash you want that's higher pitch preferably, that's the one you're going to start on, okay? And then you go to your second crash. Whatever one that you choose. Okay, now here we go. So we're going to go crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, bass, bass, snare. Okay, so let's break that down. So we have crash, snare. So the first crash is on the crash 1. The second crash is on the crash 2. So crash, snare, right? Then we have bass, bass. Now the first bass is with crash. The second bass is going to be by itself. Just like so. Okay, so we have crash, snare, bass, bass, snare. Now after the snare, this is what we do. We're going to go snare, bass, and bass, snare. Now, these basses are by themselves, right? So snare, bass by itself, and bass by itself, and then snare and crash again. Right? So now putting it together, we have crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare. All right, now. If you have any issues with that, then it's likely going to be your prep stroke or just doing the double kick with 1 foot fluidly and comfortably, bass independence. There's several things you can do. I'd say one of the most common is wanting to hit the crash with that second bass there. So a little helpful tip is go bass, bass, and go away from the crash when you do that second bass. So basically, if you just have it fluid like this, you're going to be less tempted to hit it on the second bass because it's going away from it, right? So if your stick's ever going away from the cymbal, you're going to be less likely to hit it when you're not supposed to. But if it's just kind of hovering, all you got to do is react, and you're going to hit it when you are not supposed to do that. So just nice fluid motion in your hand, that'll help eliminate that. All right, so continuing on, we got crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, bass, bass, snare. So we do 1 more bass, bass, snare after that. Right? right, now, so what I did is the first 3 measures there. So we do this twice, and you're going to crash on crash 1 at the beginning of each measure so far. So we have crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass. Now, right there at that bass, bass, we change something. Let me show you. We're going to do a flam this time. Let's just listen to that together really quick here, and I will show you. So it's a little hard to hear that, but if you listen very closely, you'll hear a fra. You'll hear that separation, so we know it's a flam, right? Okay, so now once he does the flam, okay, then we go into the other crashes. So we have so what I would do here, if you have the crashes for it, is you're going to do flam and then crash, crash. So you're going to crash with the bass and then crash with the snare, but both, neither one is your main crash that you're using for the beat, right? So you're using 2 different crash for accent crashes here. If you only have one, again, just use the same one each time. That's fine. Just go, right? And then you go back. So it'd be flam, crash, crash, back to normal. If you have the crashes, then flam, crash, crash, bass, bass, snare, back to normal, right? Okay, so now that we have that, then we have this really fun fill coming up. So let me show you all 4 together, a bit slower than tempo. 1, 2, ready, go. So putting that together fast, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now, so there is the first half. Now let's go over what that fill is, but first let's back up real quick because there's a different crash here. Okay, so once we do the flam, crash, crash, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, like normal. The 4th measure here is going to be played like this. You're going to go crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, crash. Now you have 2 options here. You can do the snare with or without a crash. Either way is really acceptable. It's fine. So we're going to go crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, crash, or crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, crash. Truly, it does not matter at all which one you want to do. It's totally optional. Now, so now we have that. Or, right? Either one's fine. But we're going to do that second accent crash immediately. Crash, snare, bass, bass, snare, crash, like so. Immediately after that snare. Now, after you do that, you're going to do this fill. Okay, now the fill itself is right, left, right, left. Now, for those of you who are familiar with this, this is a herita. Right, so herita, and then you're going to do high, high, snare, snare, crash with the bass. So the fill altogether is dig-a-dut-dut. You could think of it that way. Dig-a-dut-dut, and then high, high, snare, snare, and then crash with the bass. One more time. Okay. All right. Now, when you do that fill, you're actually going to do the 2 crashes again. You're going to have the 2 different accent crashes again. So you're going to do and then back to normal. So it's going to go like this. right? Just like we did before, going to the 2 crashes and then back to the normal one. All right, so fourth measure together sounds like this. Right? And then, first measure started on that first crash. All right, now, let's do it one more time. Right? And then you just keep going and go on. Now, the next half is largely the same. The only difference is you're going to omit one crash, right? And then you're going to do a slightly different fill at the end. So let's listen together here. Watch. Okay, so everything's the same except the fill, and you omit the crash in the sixth measure. So sixth measure, you don't do a crash, right? So basically you have this. And then you have that fill, which I'm going to cover right now. So the only difference besides that fill is you simply don't crash on sixth measure. So let's say we just finished our first fill. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. All right, so now this second fill, like I said, it's very, very similar. But instead of doing the Herita and then 2 toms, 2 snare, we're going to mix up what we do after that. So it's going to be the Herita, and then a right hand on the snare instead of the high tom. So So basically we have the Herita, and then snare, high, mid, floor, crash. Snare, high, mid, floor, crash. Dig it, that, snare, high, mid, floor, crash. Okay, all right, now all of this together with music is going to sound like this. Oh, one more thing I want to back up here. So coming in on the intro, that can be a bit challenging to come in right on time when you crash after the intro. So let me show you how I count that to make sure that I come in right on 1. So let's start at about 14 seconds here. Now check it out. So when he says forgotten, when he says the got of forgotten, that's 1. And you're going to count 8 rests and then crash on 1. Let me show you. Dropping to the valleys of an aging face that this world has forgotten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Let's do it again. Dropping to the valleys of an aging face that this world has forgotten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Right, so that'll really help you to tell when to come in exactly on that. It's very, very easy to come in slightly off, especially because the song speeds up after that. Like the tempo that was at the beginning is not the tempo that it continues as. Watch, listen. I'll just keep the same beat here. It sped up big time, right? It was not the same tempo anymore. So because you go from slower tempo to a little bit faster tempo, it kind of adds to, it could be a little bit harder to come in. On the other side of the coin, you could say, well, it doesn't matter what tempo it changes to because it still stays that same tempo until the rest. So that is true, but it's almost like your brain just you can get off tempo easier because it changes, basically is what I'm saying. But it does stay the same tempo until you crash on 1. So if you just get used to the tempo of the intro and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, crash, then you won't have any it'll be easier, put it that way, to come in right on time. All right, so I'm going to play it one more time for you guys with everything here. Tears dropping through the valleys of an aging face that this world has forgotten. Okay, there we have. All right, so that is the first section of this song, and I hope you guys really, really enjoyed that. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out. My email is below, jeremy@e7musicschool.com. I'd love to hear any thoughts, feedback. Feel free to comment on this video as well. I love reading y'all's comments. So thanks again. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this and you have fun with this song. So be sure to have fun, stay awesome, and rock on, and I'll see you next time.